Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Preston here, and this is my post reaction for the Kai France versus Amir Albazi fight. So this fight was a good fight. It ended up of Albazi bagging a really close split decision. The fight honestly could have been a draw. I do have my opinion on it. I'm gonna wait on it, a little bit, but it was a good fight. It was a good fight. They both were, exchanging, and they were both winning the fight in their own ways. But the one thing I do wish is I do kind of wish that both fighters were a little like less. I wish they didn't wait so much because I feel like they waited a little too much with their shots. I feel like if they didn't really wait that much with their shots, it could have been a lot better fight and it could have been a lot less ugly for Albazi. Because I feel like Albazi was more just kind of just grabbing onto Kai France and was getting him on the fence for like, a long time. Not a long time, but he would occasionally get Kai France to the fence and he would have him on the fence for like 2 minutes. Sometimes like 30 seconds to a minute. Usually that was around the time. But in the first round, that's where Albazi was kind of just was having Kai France on the ground, and he was having him on the ground for like 2 minutes, But speaking of that, let's go round by round of this because a lot of people thought Kai France won this fight. I do have my opinion on it, but let's start off by going round by round with the fight. So round was a close round for both guys. They were trying to feel each other's rhythm, with Albazi landing overhand punches that was partially landed on France and also getting France to the fence. But towards the end, France was landing clean shots. But the fighter that edged that round for me was Amir Albazi, mainly because because when they were trying to feel their rhythm, Albazi was kind of landing the more punches. He was kind of landing, the overhand punches. I think it was like an overhand left. It could have been overhand right. I don't know. But a lot of the time he would do like an overhand punch, and stuff, and that would land on Kai France. But that's not the reason why he won. It's also because he was getting Kai France to the fence, which was kind of the majority of the fight, where he was getting Kai France, to the fence. And then he would make Kai France he would try to tire out Kai France whenever he would do that. But the thing is, the reason why Albazi won that round is because both fighters weren't really being that active. Like I just said, they were both just trying to figure each other out. But I just feel like Albazi got the better of it because he was punching, but then he also started early though. I really think that Albazi started a lot earlier than Kai France because he was hitting Kai France and he was also taking him down to the ground and was also having a lot of success kind of grilling Kai France to the fence. And he was doing that all through the fight. And he kind of started off like early doing that, and stuff like that. Round number 2, France was doing a really good job keeping Albazi back in the round. And I feel like Albazi needs to start mixing his punches up because Albazi is only, coming in with one punch. Then he waits after like 15 or 20 seconds and then he throws another punch. But France was doing good in this round with being more consistent than Albazi with throwing straight punches and also countering Albazi whenever Albazi comes in. So in this round, I gave it to Kai France, because just like I said, Albazi was kind of, he was kind of waiting with his shots, and I wanted him to kind of mix up his shots. He was doing the same thing in the first round of him, grappling Kai France and stuff, but I feel like he wasn't getting as much success. But I mean, it's not that. It's like he did the same thing as what he did in the first round, but that's where Kai France actually started picking up the pace, and that's why I gave the round to Kai France. So right now, through 2 rounds, I have it 1-1 right now. I have it a draw. All right, so round three. So round three. This was a tough round. In the first minute and the third, France was landing shots, but then Albazi got France to the fence for another minute, then got a takedown. Then when the fight was on the ground, there wasn't really that much action, but Albazi did almost choke out Kai Kara France, but then Kai Kara France survived. Then when France survived, he got up, then got on top of Albazi in the round for the last minute and started throwing heavy shots, but didn't really land clean on Albazi, but landed like two elbows that didn't really look like it affected Albazi. In this round, it was very competitive, but I think I leaned this round more towards Albazi, mainly because Albazi, he was just being more consistent with his takedowns. I feel like he was giving Kai Kara France a little bit of trouble for of him staying on the feet. So in that round, I gave that round to Albazi. It was a close round, but I just feel like the grappling and how long Kai Kara France was on the ground, what is the reason why Albazi won that round. The fourth round, this was another really close round, but more of a slower pace round than like the last two rounds. It was kind of like another round one, to be honest. But I feel like France was doing good and was getting the better of Albazi with his jab and leg kicks. And France was bagging in a takedown later in the round, but Albazi had some success with the takedown, but still wasn't enough to win the round. So I gave this round to Kai Kara France, mainly because he like it was like a slower pace round, but Kai Kara France was more controlling the fight. With the jab, started outboxing him, and then he started bagging in like a takedown. And the takedown lasted for not too long, but I mean you could still add that on for him winning the round because then you could add that on for him winning the round because he was also punching Albazi. Okay, so far I have it 2-2 right now, so I have it a draw. The fifth and final round, the winner of this round is who I think won this fight. France dominated the round by outboxing Albazi, but Albazi again had him on the fence for like 2 seconds. But then after the whole fight was on the feet with France controlling the round with the jab and leg kicks, I gave the round to Kai Kara France because in the fourth and fifth round, Albazi started getting tired. So then in those rounds, that's when Kai Kara France was starting to take over. And then that's where he bagged those rounds in. So in this fight, I had a 3-2 in favor of the winner, Kai Kara France. The reason why I had France winning the fight is mainly because he was was looking better in his rounds, but he was also bagging in more rounds. And I feel like, Albazi had to kind of get his air tank back every time whenever he would do something. And that's why he was just throwing single punches. That's why I wish he was mixing up his punches because if he would mix up his punches, I would have had him win this fight. Because France wasn't really mixing up his punches either, but he was still throwing and landing more punches. And that's why I had him winning this fight 3 rounds to 2. So what these fighters did good in the fight, okay, let's start off with Kai Kara France. France did really good in this fight, but I feel like he should have been a little more consistent with his shots because I feel like he was waiting a little too much to counter, and also he would sometimes throw unnecessary punches that would miss but sometimes land. But that's not good enough to get the judge's attention. So I feel like that's why he lost the fight. And for Albazi, I feel like, Albazi did good, I feel like Albazi did good, but he was also waiting a little too much because I feel like he was too distracted with trying to get the takedown instead of actually trying to engage and mix up his punches to then make France think more. Because he would have frustrated, because he was already frustrating France with the takedown. But if he would mix him up a little more with his punches and more takedown techniques, or just the way how he would take down France, I feel like he would have easily got the fans' attention for him to actually comfortably win this fight. So this fight was a good fight. It was a really, really good fight. It was honestly close to a draw, to be honest. But I feel like France edged the fight in my scorecards because, when he was on the, because every time whenever France was on the feet, he would have control. But the only round that really Albazi had control with his hands, like on the feet, was in the first round. But after that, when it was on the feet, Kaikar France started dominating. He not dominating, but he started, winning more. He started getting the better of Albazi. But anyhow, this was a good fight. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. And make sure you guys give me, your opinion on this fight. I have to go and do my other video. So I am Preston. Make sure you guys subscribe and peace out.